Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Another good looking puzzle in front of us. This one is called, brain work. It's called EntropiX by AParliamenofOwls. Now, I think we've done a puzzle by AParliamenofOwls maybe a long time ago. The name sounds familiar, but I can't quite recall. But anyhow, the puzzle looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's jump into the rules, see what's going on, and then we'll go from there. So we've got normal Sudoku. So every row, column, and 3x3 region will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we have additional rules. So we have a global entropy. Okay, we had a global entropy not too long ago that we used here as a, well, it wasn't global entropy. It was global parity was the other one we recently did. Although it was listed as global entropy in the rule sets, but this is actually global entropy. So anyway, we're going to divide the digits 1 to 9 into low, middle, and high digits. That's the normal entropy. So low is 1, 2, 3, middle is 4, 5, 6, and high is 7, 8, 9. And then for most global constraints is that any 2x2 region, doesn't matter where you put it, has to contain at least one of each of those groups. So one digit from each of those groups. So it doesn't matter what 2x2 square you pick, there will always be at least one low, one mid, and one high. And then the fourth one can be whatever the heck it needs to be. And then we have X-sums. So digits on the outside of a row or column indicates the sum of the first n digits, n being the first digit in that row or column. So on this 12 here, it's looking down this column. So whatever this digit is, let's say it's a 3, you put a 3 here, then the first 3 digits will add to 12. And that's the X-sums, and that's that. So nothing crazy. We've done these rule sets before, so we should just be able to get into it and get some work done. So links in the description below. Let's get at it. All right, so we're going to have to start on our, well, here's a given right here. If you ever have an X-sum, that's a 1. The digit that goes there is just 1, because obviously you can't put more than 1 there. Now let's start thinking about these low digits, the 7s and the 8s. Now, obviously you can't put a 1, because if you put a 1, you can only use one digit, and that doesn't get us there to a 7 or 8. But you could put, didn't mean to be on that one, 2 or 3, because you can't go higher than 3, because you can't have 4 separate digits add to either one of those. Now, I think what we're probably going to have to do is either start going through all of these and seeing how they correlate, or start looking at ones that are across the board from each other. Let's start thinking about maybe that first, because I don't necessarily see anything that's like a given, because even like a 42, yeah, it could be 7 or 8 here, because we could have 7 digits and then the last, well, actually that won't work, will it, because of the 16? Okay, yeah, so let's look at them in conjunction. Let's think if this was a 7, what would that mean? It would mean the 7 digits that add to 42. We can make that happen. And then the last, the 2 remaining digits that are left over from that would have to add to 3. It's a 1 and a 2. Well, how the heck do you put a 1 or a 2 in this position? You can't. So this is 8, which means the final digit, because these 8 will add to 42, is going to be a 3. Now, these 2 digits are going to add to 13, because we have these 3 adding to 16. Now, well, there's a couple of things that could still be. It could be 9, 4, or 7, 6. Let's try to use maybe the 41 with this 12 and the 41 with the 17 in the same way we use this. Because that could start to reduce the options here. But we're going to start here because I just feel like doing it, even though I know this is going to do us more information. This is going to either be 7 or 8, same thing. Now, I think we can get away with a 7 on this one, can't we? Because this could be a 7, all of these guys adding to 41, and then these 2 would be 4 left over, so it would be a 1 and a 3. This could be a 3, right? No, it can't. Okay, because of the fact that there's an 8 here. You could put a 3 here, and this would be the 1 to finalize the 14, but then you'd have to put another 8 here to get to 12, and that won't work. So this one is an 8 too. And it means that this is going to be a 4. Now, we could think about the options of 4 on 12. We're going to know, I think there has to be a 1. Does there have to be a 2 on it? Because we'd be at 5, we'd have 7 left. Yeah, it would actually have to be a 1 and a 2, wouldn't it? So it would be a 1, 2, 5, I think are the only options, right? Because what if you had the 4 and we know we have to have a 1 because you can never do 2, 3, 4, 5. What if you put a 1 with and didn't have the 2? I kind of already said this, but I'll go through it step by step because I just want to make sure I've got myself in the right place. Well, if you put a 1 and a 3, yeah, that won't work because you're going to have a 1 and a 3, and it doesn't matter where you put it. That is going to be 4 plus 4, which is 8. You'd have to put another 4. Yeah, so this is a 1, 2, 5 here. Okay, let's go to this guy because I think it's going to be something very similar, and we can hopefully use this digit then to sort out this 16. So this is going to be the same thing, 7 or 8. Now the 17, let's think about if we can use that or not. Because if we do 7, these two will be a 1, 3. To left over to get to us 4. This will be the 3. This would be a 1. That would be 4. And obviously you can't make this a 13. So this is 8. This is 4. Now we go back to our, well, that doesn't actually tell us anything because we already couldn't use the 8. But let's think about this guy maybe, because what's the bare minimums? Well, I actually don't know if that helps us or not. Yeah, does it actually help us? Because we know that these 3 are going to be 13. But there's multiple ways we can make that work. And I don't think we have enough of a restriction there. Because these could be a 2, 3 pair. That's 5. That's a 9. Well, obviously that wouldn't work because you couldn't put an 8 here. But as you can see, there's some levels of restrictions we can put through there. All right, maybe we just need to start looking at some of these other guys now. 8 and 4, 4 and 8. The other thing you can also start to think about is if we have like 2 lowish digits here or 2 digits that obviously don't add to 45, you're going to have a gap somewhere in the middle. I don't know if that tells us a whole lot, but let's start looking at the 20 and the 22 options, and we'll start to see what could be going on. Now, obviously this can't be 1, it can't be a 2. We could put a 3. No, we can't put a 3 actually because of this 8. If we were to put a 3 here, these 2 digits would have to add to 17. The only way to do is a 9, 8. So it has to at least be a 4, and it can only go up to a 5 because 6, the minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 21. What about you? Again, can't be 1, can't be 2. Now, this guy still can't be 3 because we'd be out of range. These two would have to add to 19. Can't do that. So we're again at 4, 5, but you could technically be 6. Or can you because of what the values are? Because no, we can't use a 6 actually if you think about it. Because what if you put a 6 here? Well, how do you make 22 in 6 unique digits? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. You'd never have a 6 to use, so it's not a 6. So this is a 4 or a 5. Now, do we think about how these guys correlate, or do we say there's a 3 there and put a 2 here? Hello. This is a 5, this is a 4, this is a 5. Easy ways of doing things. They're just not as much fun, but hey, we do what we gotta do sometimes. Do we think about the 4 or do we think about the 5 for the 20 and the 22? And do we have anything else crossing over? No, we don't. So if we think about the 22 on the 4, these 3 digits have to add to 18 in some way. I don't know that we have enough info there to really work with. Cool. So maybe the question is now, do we start thinking about any type of entropy? Is there anything in this that helps us there, or do we have to get a little bit further? 2, 5. I guess we do know that if we think about the options of these guys, if this is a 2, this is a 6. If this is a 3, these are a 1, 4. That could work. If you're a 2, you're a 5. If you're a 3, you are broken. Yeah, you can never make it work. Because how do you make... Same thing we said about the... what was it? I just did the 22 over here at the 6. What happens if you put a 3 in this 7 slot? You have to make these 3 digits add to 7. How do you make 7 and 3 unique digits? It's 1, 2, 4. 3 doesn't exist. 2, 3. So you are a 5. You're not. Now we just said if this was a 3, this is a 1, 4 pair. So you have to be the 4 and the 1. Good. And where do we want to go from there? Do we want to start thinking about Sudoku, or do we want to go to our entropy? Trying to see if there is any... Yeah, there's Sudoku we can do with the 4s at least. That's a 4. Do we have anything else that's useful? We had one of these guys being a 1. I saw that, but it's not really super helpful. 2s, I don't know that they are. We also could just put these digits in, but I don't know if that's going to really get us where we want to go either. Let's take another gander at that 4. Nah. Anything else we can look to here? One of those is 8s, one of those is 8s. I don't like any of that stuff. Okay, let's maybe start thinking about what these options are and then start thinking about global restrictions. So they have to be from 3, 6, 7, 9. That's correct. It doesn't actually tell us anything because this guy could still be a low digit. Now, maybe we think about the 20 clue first. Because we currently have 9. Yeah, I think that's going to help us a little bit. So these 3 digits have to add to 11. Can never put a 9 there. How do we make 3 digits add to 11 without using 1, 4, and 5? Well, 2 and 3 would be the start to it, and that would be a 2, 3, 6. If you didn't use the 2, it would be 3, 6, 7, which is way too much. If you didn't use the 3, you'd be at 2, 6, 7. Yeah, so this is just a given. This is 2, 3, 6. You can't be a 3. So one of you is, so you're not. Okay. Now, this has to be a high digit because of our global entropy. We've got 1 mid and then either another mid and a 2 low, or 1 low or a mid and 2 lows. So you have to be high. So you are 7 or 9. We could also start to say what these digits are, and we'll probably keep going with some of our options on entropy there. I was trying to think if we had entropy there, but I don't think we do. Okay, let's put these in real quick, because they have to be from 7s, 8s, and 9s. You're not 8. So this is a 7, 8, 9 here. So these two have to be 1 low, 1 mid. I guess I don't know which one is which there. And then these guys, we already have one of each. These guys, we have one of each. Oh, what about you? You have to be a high. We're probably going to have to start coloring, so I might as well start doing that. Let's get into it. Highs and lows and mids. We'll use the correct coloring for all of those. Which is this. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. Just kidding. You can do whatever the heck you want. So let's see what that tells us. It doesn't really tell us what you are. Doesn't really tell us what these guys are. We know there is a low in one of these two, I guess. But it could be, again, we said it previously, it could be 2 lows or it could be a low mid. Okay. Is there anything else in here that we can work in for global, or do we need to continue with our... I think we've used almost everything. Let's use the let's try to go through the 16 and the 17 here maybe, and we might be able to find something like we did with this 20 to help us move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 3 digits have to add to 13. 913 would work. Do we have to have a 9? 7. No, we don't. I don't think. I don't know if that tells us anything. What about the 16 again? Because we said previously, I think we had a... No, we didn't. Everything that's looking in here is not... is from the same grouping. You guys had to... Well, let's just put the options in because it might be enough to get us moving. So we have to have 13 left over. So it's going to be 9, 4, or 7, 6. Those are the options. You can't be 4. You can't be 9. Now, we have all of our lows in this column, interestingly enough, I just noticed. Whether or not that's helpful, I'm not entirely sure. This guy could just be a mid. 4, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, I don't think we can rule either of those out at the moment. We know you're the what doing here. 3, 6, 7s, and 9s. Okay. What am I missing here? I'm not seeing, there's something with this entropy that I know we can probably use. I don't think that tells me anything. I mean, we know that these are almost all high digits. Okay, is there... No, there's no gap between these guys or these guys or these guys that we can calculate. And we already know what they are. They're these for this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if those are those 4 and these are 7, we're at 29. So these 3 digits are going to have to add to 16. I don't think we can say what those are. Okay, what about go back to this 22 now. Let's think about it again. Because again, these 3 digits have to add to 18. There's multiple ways that could work. Yeah, okay. What am I not seeing, and why am I not picking this up? I feel like it has to be entropy, but it's not necessarily the case, because I don't see how we can work with these other X-sums any further at this stage until we get more information to make some reductions. You're going to be a low digit, first off. You're either low or mid. That doesn't help us. There has to be one high in here somewhere. That doesn't really tell us anything. You're low or mid. One of these will have to be high. One of these will have to be high. Huh. One of you will be high. One of you will be high. We have those kind of interactions, but... Oh, you have to be high. There we go. Okay. Took me a second to find this thing. Goodness gracious, that's a high digit. And I guess we said one of these two has to be high, so the highs are done in this column. So these guys will all be low or mid. Again, not massively helpful there, I don't think, but You're either 7 or 9. You're 7, 8, or 9. Does that help us with any of these guys? Mid. One of these two will have to be low. We know one of these has to be low. We don't know which one it is, or it could be both, like we said previously. You could always be low or mid. One of these two is going to be mid, at least. Curious why I'm not seeing this then. What am I missing? It's got to be just some little bit of information from one of these other clues that for some reason I'm not picking up on. For these, maybe we just had to put these options in. But I thought we had plenty of that could go there. Because we said these three have to add to 13 in some way. Right? If that's a 9, this would be a 1-3 pair. If it's a 7, it has to add to 6. Oh, it can't add. There it was. We couldn't ever make these two digits add to 6. If this was a 7, because the 5, 1, and the 4, 2 are both used. Okay, this is the 9. That's what I was missing. You're not a 9, which means you're not the 4, so this is a 6-7 pair. Good. What are you guys? 6, 7, and 2. So this is the 2. Now we're starting to move. Okay. You guys are both low. You are low. Don't know what you guys are yet. You are 6 or 7. You have to be high. See, now there's just enough information. You have to be mid. You have to be low. I guess that was probably already there anyway. For some reason I didn't see that one. This has to be mid, which means you have to be high. All right, we're starting to move. Good. You have to be mid, which means this is 1 low and 1 mid. This can't be mid. And it can't be high, so it's low, which means you are mid and you are 6. Means you are the 3, you are the 2. You are both low. Perfect. Let's get rolling. You're mid, you're low, you're 1, you're high. You're 6. You're 5. You are a 5-6 pair. You are 7 or 9. You are 8, 7, 9, 8, 7, 8 or 9. Cool. It's amazing how quickly it pops together once you get that one little thing to get things moving in the right direction. Okay, now, you guys aren't 3s, so one of you is mid, one is high, so this has to be low. It'll either be 2 or 3, don't know quite yet which one it is. 3s, 1s, and 2s. We've got you taken care of. You have to be the mid because of this group. So you are the 6. You are the high. Go away. Come on. Good. That's the 7-9 pair here. You have to be low. You could be whatever you want. You could be whatever you want. You're not 6. One of these two is going to be low and finish this region off of lows. Don't think I know which one it is just yet. Okay. I keep looking over here. I keep eschewing it, if you will. Let's get our information into here. We need 1s. Be in the right setting first. 1s, 2s, 4s, and 9s. Now, obviously, you guys can't be 2s. You can't be a 9. You can't be a 2 or a 4. Okay. And I don't know if that, oh, this is a 2. Let's just put that in there. This is, okay. This is a 2, this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 1. Just missing on some of our obviousness. This has to be the 2 and the 3, so you're not the 2, which means you are the 2. Much better. All right, now you're either mid or high. We don't know yet. You're mid or high. We don't know yet. Okay. Let's, do we have any other bits of math we can do, or are we done with all that at this stage? I think we're done with it. Well, I guess we still have the 22, but there's not enough going on there yet. Okay, let's keep rolling then with our highs and lows, because you are our highs, mids, and lows. You have to be mid, which means you have to be high. So this is either 7 or 9. You have to be mid, because it's all that's left on this row. One of you two has to be high. One of you two has to be low. You could be whatever. Okay. Next place to look. Where are we? You are either, well, you could be anything, really. So that's not super helpful. Maybe we just need to start going back and putting in digits, because these are a 4-5 pair. Yeah, so you are a 4, you are a 5. That means you're not the 4 and you are, which means you are the mid. You have to be high. Yep, there we go. And you're 7. Keep on moving. You are either mid or high, so you have to be low. Can't be a 2, so you're a 1 or a 3. This has to be high, because we have to get one in there, so you're not a 6. One of you two is a 6. Mid, low, one of those two has to be low. Don't think we can say which one it is just yet. High and mid, low and mid, no. I keep waiting for this something to happen over here. We can get through it as 22, but it doesn't seem to be happening just yet. What about just base Sudoku here? These have to be from 1s, 2s, and 3s, and you're not a 2, so you are. There we go. Just had to shift gears a little bit there. You are also a low. You're a mid and a high. This has to be a mid and a high. Maybe we need to start looking at, yep, this has to be low. There we go. Just need to get that one little thing to break that apart. Good. I guess we don't know how these guys are working through. You're mid. Let's put you there. 1 high, 1 low. 2 1s and 3s, 7s, 8s, 9s. What are you? You're a high digit. So you will be a 7, 9. So you get a 7, 9 pair. So this is going to be a 5, 8. We can do that. Good. 8 and 5. You are the high digit. You are the mid digit. This now has to be high, which means nothing necessarily, because we have one of everything. 1s, 5s, 2s, 7s, 6s, and 9s. No. Okay. Where else do we have something that's a... Oh, maybe now we can get the 22, because we finally have an 8 in here. So these are 12. Yep. Oh, no, it doesn't work, because these are... Either way, it's going to work. It's either 7, 3, or 1, 9. There's no differentiation between those. Okay. We said you're 1 mid and 1 high. This then has to be a low. Okay. This is 1 or 3. You're either 6 or a high. I guess we don't quite know what that is just yet. All right, let's keep looking. Mid high, mid high. What about, we don't quite know what this is, because this again is either a mid or a high. Well, that's actually helpful though, because if this is mid or high, we need to put a low here. And you have to be a 3. Now these are 2 lows, so these have to be 1 mid, 1 high. Actually, this is always a high. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together, because this is one of each, which means we have all of the mids, which means you are a mid and you are a 6, which means you are not the 6, so you are the high, you are the mid, you have to be the low. It's a 1-3 pair again, but you are now a 9 and a 1. So you become low, you become high, you become high, and you will be the 9 and the 7. This is an 8. You guys are, well, you are the 6. You're not 8s. You have to be the 8. Okay, and you will be the high digit. So you will be that 7. 9, 8, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7, 9. You are a mid 4, so let's get you in there. This is 5 and 6 by Sudoku. This is 7 and 6 by Sudoku. Mid, high. What are you two? 5 and 9. So this is the 5, this is the 9. Let's do our coloring while we're here. Good, 1s and 3s. What are you two? We need a 4 and a 6. We can do that. And they're both mid. So 4, 6. You have to be low. Let's finish the coloring first. You're mid, you're low. You become the 3, you become the 1, you become the 6. And one of these guys is going to get disambiguated. Wait a second. Oh, I was like, how the heck do you do that? Use the 22. I got scared there for a second. These are 19. This is the 3, 1, 3, 1. There it is. Okay. Solve the puzzle. Solution is correct. Under 400 solves in almost a couple of weeks. That's not a ton of solves, to be honest, but good puzzle. Really enjoyed that. Really did have to dig into these sums to start off, and then you had to kind of get into the entropy, and then kind of switching back and forth a little bit to use the values you're getting to help you finalize some of the sums, which then comes back in and helps you get the entropy going. So really fun puzzle. Really enjoyed that one. Hope you all did as well. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Buy some merch. We've got plenty of it. There's actually new stuff on the site now that I just put up there. A couple little things like a new hat, stickers, those sorts of things. But anyway, again, all that stuff in the shop in the month of December in 2025. I need to just preface that are on sale. Everything, the entire site is 20% off if you want to buy anything. Go right ahead, because now is the good time to do it. But anyway, enough self-promotion. Again, hope you all enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.